Hey there, in today's practice, we are going to work on linking some balance postures together. So we're going to link your Warrior 3 or your Virabhadrasana 3, Half Moon Pose or Ardha Chandrasana, which I'm not sure that we've done so far, so that will be a fun new one to explore, and then your Revolved Half Moon or Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana. And we'll link together some of the other poses that we've done in the previous practice. And balance can be difficult for a lot of different reasons. And so I want you to, one, just notice if the rate of your breath changes when we're doing the balance postures. Two, does the quality of your thoughts change or does the mind become more active? And then three, if you're really troubling with balance today, please, please, please place a stool or a chair or blocks underneath the hand, and know that it's okay to kind of like hot potato your fingers off of the chair so that you can slowly explore your balance safely. And so with that, you'll want 2 blocks or a way to lift the floor up, and a blanket or a towel if you have sensitive knees, and we'll go ahead and get started. So we'll start in a comfortable seat in the center of your space, and this can be in any variation of a comfortable seat that feels best for you. Once you're there, you'll want to rest the hands somewhere along the legs. Maybe you close the eyes or gently gaze down at the nose. You might take a long inhale and exhale here. And these first few moments are for you to see if you need to add any other support in this comfortable seat. And if you haven't done so already, you'll close the eyes or gently gaze down at the nose. We'll start to turn the focus inwards. So at first you might start to notice how the hips are contacting the ground. Does it feel like you're leaning more to the left or to the right? Next, you'll start to notice the rate of your breath. Is it fast or slow? And are you breathing into the chest, the belly, or both? Then you'll bring your awareness to the body. You might scan the body from the top of the head all the way down to the tips of the toes to see how everything feels in this moment. You might notice as you make your way through each area, some might feel a little bit more tense or uncomfortable, and others that maybe feel a little bit more relaxed or at ease. Reminder that one of these is not necessarily better than the other. It's just a reflection of how you move throughout your day. Finally, you'll bring your awareness to the mind to reflect on any thoughts that have come up so far in your practice or your day. Has the mind been racing with thoughts, or has it been a little bit more calm? Do the thoughts revolve around a certain topic? And do they like to linger, or can you easily let them go? We'll take one deep breath together, where you inhale for 4, and then you open the mouth and let out a nice on the exhale. You can imagine yourself releasing something that is stressful, frustrating, that you just don't want to carry into your practice. So when you're ready, you'll inhale for 4. Breathe deep into the belly, 3. Feel the ribs expand out to the side, 2. Sip in the last bit of air, 1. Open the mouth, exhale. You'll start to close the lips and see if you can breathe in and out just through the nose for the rest of practice. If you can, cool. If not, you're welcome to open the mouth, but try to keep the inhale for a 4 count and an exhale for the 4 count. You'll slowly start to lower the chin down towards the chest. Interlace the fingers behind the head and pull the elbows forward. Continue to sit tall as you exhale. Tuck the chin down towards the chest even more. You can stay here if this already feels like enough of a stretch on the back side of the neck. Or you're going to continue to round the spine even more. Elbows towards the floor. Breathe into the back of the neck. Space between the shoulder blades. And you have 4 deep breaths here. Trying to keep shoulders down away from the ears. With your next inhale, you'll gently push the head into the hands to lift the head up. Exhale to release the hands down towards the legs. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale to squeeze the shoulder blades together tight, and then all the way down towards the hips. One more. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale to squeeze the shoulder blades together tight, and then down towards the hips. You'll slowly start to blink the eyes open if they were still closed. And we'll start to bring the soles of the feet together for your Baddha Konasana diamond pose. So soles of the feet together, really try to plug the big toes together. Grab somewhere on the outsides of the ankles, and you're going to pull the heels a little closer to the hips for this first one. Exhale, relax. Knees down towards the floor. Inhale, sit tall. If you wanted to add a forward fold, you are welcome to do so here by pulling the chest forward towards the toes. Wherever you are, you have 4 breaths. After your next exhale, you're going to start to straighten the left leg, right foot flat on the floor in front of the right hip. Hug the right knee in tight. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, push the right hip into the floor. So we're going to stay in this position for a little bit of time to work on strengthening the feet and waking up the feet so that we can maybe have a little better chance of balancing today. So if you need to cheat, you're always welcome to do so, but you're going to try to keep the big toe down and lift the tiny toes up. And so to help yourself, if you've never done this before, you're going to just use 2 fingers to plug the big toe down. Then you're going to switch. So tiny toes down, big toe up. We're going to switch back and forth 4 times. So big toe down, tiny toes up. Then the tiny toes down, big toe up. Switch again, big toe down, tiny toes up. Tiny toes down, big toes up. One more, big toe down, tiny toes up. And then tiny toes down, big toe up. Great. We'll start to move towards a twist. Again, inhale, sit tall. Exhale, you're going to start to turn the chest now towards the right. You can wrap the left elbow around the right knee, and this might be your version of a twist today. Or you can take the right hand behind the body, left arm to the outside of the right leg, push the arm into the leg, inhale, sit tall. With your next exhale, you're going to try and twist and look at a new spot, either beside or behind you. So each inhale, you grow tall. And each exhale, you try to twist a little deeper, really push the arm and the leg together. Next exhale, try to relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Last breath here. Inhale, slowly back towards the center. Drop the right knee out to the side. Right foot on the inside of the left thigh for your Chandrasana. Before we do that, we're going to activate the front side of the leg, which can help relax the back of the leg. So one hand on each side of the left leg. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Tighten up the leg. Next, inhale, lift the leg. Hold here for 3. Try to keep the chest upright for 2. And 1. Exhale, lower down. Shake out the leg if you cramped. If you cramped, that just means you're working on end range of motion strength, which can in turn then help relax the backside. So relax the shoulders down. Again, we're going to tighten up the leg. Inhale, lift the leg. Hold here for 3. For 2. Lift a little higher for 1. Exhale, slowly lower down. Shake it out. And then you're going to inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, walk the hands as far forward as you can towards that left ankle. Try to point the chest towards the left toes. And then a slight tuck of the chin towards the chest. 4 breaths here. Inhale, start to walk the hands back towards the hips. Now we're going to move towards Parivrtta Chandrasana, or your revolved head to knee pose. So turn the chest now towards the right knee, left hand on the inside of the left leg. You can stay here if this is giving you a nice stretch, or you'll inhale, take the right hand behind the head, pull the elbow back behind you. Again, you can stay here, sit tall, or you'll exhale, walk the left hand down towards the left ankle. Maybe you lower the left forearm down towards the floor. Inhale, spin the chest even more towards the right so you can get the right shoulder, right elbow up towards the ceiling. And the last option is to always reach that right hand towards the left toes. Whatever variation you've chosen, you have 4 breaths. Breathing into the right side of the body between right hip, right armpit. Next, inhale, you'll pull yourself up with the right hand, turn the chest forward. Same thing, other side, starting with your Baddha Konasana diamond pose. Soles of the feet together. This time we're going to take the feet a little further away from the body, so you have a long diamond pose. This just changes where you might feel the stretch. If you already feel something, you can stay here, sit tall. To add the forward fold, you'll use an exhale. Pull the chest forward away from the hips towards the toes. Relax the head down towards, or the chin towards the chest. 4 breaths here, just observing where you might feel this in the body. Different than the first one, yes or no? Next inhale, you'll lift the chest. Straighten the right leg, right toes up towards the ceiling. Place left foot in front of the left hip. Hug the knee in tight. Push the left hip towards the floor. You can always have the hands on the ground next to the hips if that's going to support you a little bit better. So we're going to wake up the feet again with the toe exercises. So big toe down, tiny toes up. And again, you can use the fingers here as you need. Then you'll switch. Tiny toes down, big toe up. Then big toe down, down, tiny toes up. Tiny toes down, big toe up. Woof. Big toe down, tiny toes up. Tiny toes down, big toe up. One more switch. So big toe down, tiny toes up, and then tiny toes down, big toe up. Relax the toes back down. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, moving towards your twist. You can wrap the right elbow around the left knee and look more towards the left. If you want to take this a little deeper, you might take the left hand behind the body. Right arm to the outside of the left leg. Push the arm into the leg. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, see if you can twist. Look back behind you. Try to keep the shoulders down away from the ears. And you have about 4 breaths here. You want to really push the arm and the leg together towards each other. And relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Inhale slowly back towards the center. Exhale, relax. Left knee down towards the floor. Left foot on the inside of the right thigh for your Chandrasana. We're going to do those leg lifts again. So one hand on each side. Inhale, sit tall. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Next inhale, you'll tighten up the legs. Lift the leg. Hold here for 3. Woo. For 2. And 1. Exhale, lower down. Shake it out if you're cramped. We're going to go one more time. So when you're ready, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, sit tall. Tighten up the leg. Next inhale, you'll start to lift the leg. Again, hold here for 3. Try to keep the chest up for 2. And 1. Exhale, lower down. One hand on each side. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, walk the hands a little closer towards that right ankle. Keep the left knee, left hip heavy. Then a slight tuck of the chin towards the chest. Last 2 breaths here. Next, inhale, you'll walk the hands back towards the hips. And we'll start to move towards revolved head to knee. So right hand down on the inside of the right leg. Turn the chest towards the left. Again, you can always stay here if this feels okay. Or you'll inhale, take the left hand behind the head. Pull the elbow further back behind you to spin the chest open a little bit more. Then to add the side bend, you're going to crawl right fingertips down towards the right ankle. If you wanted to, you could try lowering the right forearm down to the floor or a block. Then use your next inhale to spin the chest open even more. Left shoulder, left elbow up towards the ceiling. And the last option, if you want to take it, is to reach left fingertips towards the right toes. 4 breaths wherever you are, breathing into the left side of the body between left hip, left armpit. Next inhale, you'll pull yourself up. And we'll start to move towards Navasana or boat pose. So you're going to bring the hands to the outside of the legs. Inhale, lift the chest, and you're going to start to rock back a little bit more. So if all you did today was just lean back and to find this balance point where you're lifting, alternating toes off the ground, this is great. But you want to keep your chest up, Okay, if you want to go a little bit more, you can just float both toes off the ground, hold here. Another option is to take the shins parallel to the ground. Hands can stay on the sides of the legs. Or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, hands go out to the side. Really squeeze the legs together. Inhale, lift the chest. Last part is to straighten the legs up towards the ceiling. So think chest up, legs up. Hold here for 3. Squeeze the legs together for 2. And 1. Exhale. Lower the hands down. Legs down. Find your tabletop position. So hands directly underneath the shoulders. Knees directly underneath the hips. Push the tops of the feet into the floor, and as you exhale, round the spine completely, tailbone down, chin to chest. And as you inhale, move towards looking up. Untuck the tailbone, drop the belly, pull the chest forward through the arms. You have 5 rounds here on your own, moving slowly. As you exhale, rounding completely. As you inhale, move towards looking up. Trying to push the boundary of your spine a little bit more each time you pass through. After your next round, you'll start to tuck the toes under to stretch the bottom of the feet. Hands can stay on the floor here if you need. Sink the hips towards the heels. This is okay. You're going to lift the chest up. Sink the hips even closer to the heels. Find one point on the floor to gaze at. So tapping into this idea of finding your focal point or your drishti. You want to hold the gaze gently at the spot while you take 4 more breaths here. Noticing if the rate of your breath changes when you're in a more difficult position. And once you notice it, can you tap into lengthening out the exhales to slow the breath back down? Next, exhale, hands come down towards the floor. Tap the tops of the feet out. You're going to start to push the hands down and forward. Lift the hips up and back. Option to take a downward facing dog here. Pedal it out. Left, right, left, right. Alternate the heel towards the floor. And then you'll look forward towards the hands. Step the feet towards the top of the mat to find your first forward fold, Uttanasana. Relax the head down. Grab opposite elbows. Bend the knees as much as you need to get the belly a little closer to the thighs. Start to sway side to side. Breathe into the low back. Maybe drop the hips a little bit more. And then we'll start to move towards a gentle twist in your standing forward fold. So keep the right hand down on the floor or a block at any height. Bend the knee, right knee. Inhale, reach left hand high to the sky. Look up towards the left hand if you'd like. If that's too much on the neck, you can always look down at the floor. Maybe you play with pulling the hips in a different direction to see if that changes the sensation of this twist. Last 2 breaths. Next, exhale, left hand comes down, bend the left knee, straighten the right. Inhale, right hand high to the sky. Again, you can look up or down depending upon how the neck feels. Actively push down through both feet, and then maybe play with the position of the hips. Pull them more forward, more back, to see if you can change how this twist feels in the body. Next, exhale, right hand comes down towards the floor, slight bend in the knees. Roll yourself all the way up to standing. Shoulders go down the back. Head comes up last. So you're going to want to take the time to make sure your props are nearby. So whatever you're using to lift the floor up, blocks or stool, whatever, you're going to want that more in the front. And maybe just place them on the highest height. And then blanket nearby so that if you have sensitive knees, you can grab onto that here if you need. All right. So we're going to start with the balancing postures. Shift the weight towards the right foot. Inhale, left knee in line with the left hip. Relax the palms or the fingers towards the floor, palms face forward. Find one point on the floor to gaze at about 3 to 4 feet in front of you. Really push down through that right foot. As you exhale, find your warrior 3. Push left foot back behind you, lower the chest. And the left leg parallel to the floor, palms to the center of the chest, or you can reach overhead. If it's really difficult to find your balance in your warrior 3, remember you can always tap whatever surface is beneath you. Try to flex the left toes down towards the floor. Moving towards half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Right hand down, left hand to the left hip. Inhale, spin the left hip on top of the right. Try to flex the toes towards the left. Look down if you need a little bit more help with your balance. Inhale, maybe you reach left hand high to the sky. You can always keep a slight bend in the right knee here if you need. Really push down through that right foot. Lift the left leg a little bit higher. And then when you're ready, you're going to see if you can move towards your warrior three without tapping the left hand down or the foot. So as you exhale, you're going to rotate the chest and left leg parallel to the floor. Maybe hands go out to the side like airplane wings this time. Left toes down towards the floor. Warrior three. Exhale, find revolved half moon. Left hand down to the floor or a block. Inhale, reach. Right hand high to the sky. Flex the left toes down. Reach the right hand high. Option to look up if you want to challenge your balance. Last 2 breaths here. You're going to push down even more through your right foot to find your warrior three. Lift the left hand off the ground. Last 2 breaths in your warrior three. Left toes down towards the floor. Exhale, hands down towards the blocks or the floor. Maybe lift the left foot up a little bit higher. Step your left foot back behind you to find your pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Walk the hands back if they're on blocks or the floor so that they're more in line with the right foot. Remember, you can always play with position of your feet, left to right, maybe a little bit wider than you think, and front to back. You want to push down actively through both feet and spin your left heel back behind you if you haven't done so already so that your left hip can point down towards the floor. Inhale, lift the chest. Pull it away from the hips. Exhale, maybe you can bring the chest a little closer to the floor. Maybe lower the hands down in your pyramid pose. Tuck the chin towards the chest. Last 2 breaths, actively pushing down through both feet. Next, inhale, moving towards a crescent lunge. So you're going to bend your left knee a little bit. Stay on the right toes. Inhale, right knee to a 90-degree angle if you can. So bend the right knee. Inhale, lift the chest. Arms come up overhead. Just a couple of breaths here, really pushing down through both feet. Maybe you challenge your balance even more by looking up towards the ceiling. Last 2 breaths. So option to take the hands down towards the floor to lower into a low lunge. Or you can challenge yourself. Slowly lower that back knee down towards the floor. Exhale, hands down. So wherever you are, we're meeting in a low lunge. If you need the extra support, take the time to place blanket or towel underneath your left knee. Shift the hips down and forward. Untuck the back toes. Hands in line with that front foot. Hands can stay on blocks here, or maybe you take them down towards the floor. Inhale, lift the chest. 3 to 4 breaths here. You're always welcome to take another option, maybe hands to the front of the thigh. You can reach the arms up overhead, and then maybe look up and back. Your choice. If you are in a more upright position with the arms up and back, you'll inhale, come back into a more neutral position, moving towards revolve, low lunge, left hand to the floor or a block in line with the right foot. Inhale, right hand high to the sky. Sink the hips down and forward towards the front heel. You can stay here, or maybe you pass the left elbow over the right knee. Then place the palms together, push the palms together, turn the chest even more towards the right. 3 breaths wherever you are. Inhale slowly back towards the center. And then you'll shift the weight back towards the left knee for your kneeling pyramid. Flex the right toes up towards the ceiling, straighten the right leg. Again, hands can stay on blocks here if you need. Couple of cat-cows in this position. Exhale around the spine, chin to chest, tailbone down. Inhale, look up. Moving slowly here if you'd like. If this is too intense, always relax the foot. And then we're going to start to take the foot over to the left side of the mat. So slide your foot as far to the left as it feels comfortable for you. Then you'll start to push right big toe down towards the floor and then lift it up. So back and forth, a couple of times here. When you're ready, you'll move towards your pigeon pose. So slide right heel back towards the left hip. Reach the left leg back behind you. And if the right hip doesn't quite meet the floor, you can always place a prop underneath the right hip. Remember, you can keep this right heel as close to the left hip as you'd like, or you can pull it a little bit more forward. This might just change the intensity or the angle of the stretch that you feel. Inhale, lift the chest. Always welcome to stay upright, or you'll exhale, lower the chest down into a forward fold. You have 4 to 5 breaths here, trying to lengthen out the exhales. Noticing if the rate of your breath became pretty quick in that standing sequence. And if so, this is your opportunity to lengthen out the exhales to see if you can slow it down. So one of the greatest things you can challenge yourself on the mat to learn is, one, to just observe the rate of your breath and how it relates to different aspects of life, whether they're stressful or not stressful. And then once you notice those things, can you slow down the rate of your breath by lengthening out the exhales and then changing how the body feels and maybe even the activity of the mind through how you control the rate of your breath. Option to stay here in the center, or you might rotate a little bit more towards the left. Still keep the right hip heavy. So the chest is going to be more towards that right foot. When you're ready, you'll inhale towards the center. Hands go underneath the shoulders. Tuck the left toes under. Lift the left knee up. Step your right foot next to the left. And then take a downward facing dog here, maybe for a second. Look forward towards the hands. Move the props if you need here. And then you'll inhale or step your feet forward towards the top of the mat where the hands are. Slight bend in the knees. Roll yourself all the way up to standing. Shoulders go down the back. Head comes up last. So do the same thing, other side. Move the props whatever way you need. I picked the wrong direction. All right. So you're going to shift the weight over to the left foot. Inhale, right knee in line with the right hip. See if you can relax the fingertips towards the floor. Palms face forward. Shoulders away from the ears. Tailbone down towards left heel. Find that drishti or your focal point about 3 to 4 feet in front of you. It's going to move while we shift into warrior 3. So push the right heel back behind you to lower the chest and the right leg parallel to the floor. Hands can go towards the center of the chest for your warrior 3. Try to rotate right hip down a little bit more. Flex the right toes down towards the floor. If you fall out, it's okay. You get right back in. Woo. Maybe you reach the hands overhead. And then when you're ready, you'll exhale, left hand down to the floor or block. If it's really challenging, I recommend making the block a little higher. Right hand to the right hip. Spin the right hip on top of the left to find your half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Flex, right toes towards the right. Maybe you inhale, right hand high to the sky. You can gaze down at the floor or up towards the ceiling to challenge your balance. Maybe a slight bend in the bottom knee. See if you can spin that right hip even more on top of the left hip. Woo. And again, if you fall out, you go right back in. As you exhale, trying to find your warrior 3 without tapping the right hand down or the foot. So spin the chest back parallel to the floor. Hands can go out to the side like airplane wings. Right toes down. Next, exhale, right hand down to the floor, block or prop. For your revolved half moon, reach left hand high to the sky. Flex the right toes down towards the ground. Lift the right leg a little bit higher. Always an option to look up to challenge your balance even more. And then you'll find your warrior 3. So push down more through your left foot. Lift the right hand up. Hands go out to the side. One more time. 2 breaths here. Right toes down. Exhale. Hands go down towards the floor. Maybe lift the leg up. And then step your right foot back to find your pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Walk the hands back in line with the left toes. And again, you can experiment with the feet front to back, left to right. Try to point your right hip down towards the floor, and that right heel might come off the ground, and that's okay. Inhale, lift the chest. Pull the chest away from the hip. Really push down through both feet. And then exhale, maybe a gentle forward fold. So you can always lift the hands a little higher if you're struggling. Can also keep a slight bend in that front knee if that helps, especially if you tend to hyperextend the knee. All right, start to come onto the right toes for your crescent or high lunge. Bend the back knee, then the front, stack left knee over left ankle. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead to find your crescent or high lunge. Really squeeze the right glute. Find one point in front of you to gaze at. Always an option to look up, to challenge your balance even more. Really push on through that left big toe. We're going to start to make our way down to a low lunge. So you can always take the hands down towards the floor, or you're going to slowly start to bend the knees a little bit more and slowly lower back knee down towards the floor. You're welcome to place blanket or towel underneath your right knee if you need the support here. Shift the hips down and forward, untuck right toes. Hands can go to blocks here or on the floor in line with the right toes or left toes. Inhale, lift the chest, look up. So you can stay here with the hands on the floor or the props, or you can interlace the fingers on top of left thigh, push the hands down and forward, lift the chest up and back. Maybe you take the arms up and overhead. So all options for you to explore here. If you're taking the arms overhead, really push down through both feet. Inhale, back into a neutral position if you were up and back. Exhale, right hand comes down to the floor or block in line with your left foot. Inhale, reach left hand high to the sky for your revolved half moon. You can stay here or left hand to the left thigh. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, pass the right elbow a little further past the left knee on the outside. Push the palms together. Turn the chest towards the left. Keep the hips low towards the floor. 3 breaths wherever you are. Inhale, slowly rotate the chest back towards the center. Exhale, shift the hips back over that right knee. Flex the left toes up towards the ceiling. Try to keep your left leg straight for your kneeling pyramid pose. And then option to do some cat-cows here. So as you exhale, round the spine to the chest, tailbone down. Inhale, look up, pull the chest forward and through. Maybe 3 rounds here. You can always keep a slight bend in that front knee if you need. And then when you're ready, you'll slide left foot over to the right side of the mat. Start to push your left big toe down towards the floor and then lift it back up. Maybe 4 times here. So you might feel a nice stretch on the outside of the lower leg. Maybe it goes a little higher into the hip. And then when you're ready, we'll move towards pigeon pose. So slide the left heel in towards the right hip. Reach right leg back behind you. And remember, if the left hip is off the ground, you can always place a prop underneath. Flex the toes, left toes forward. That left heel can stay close to the right hip, or you might bring it a little bit more forward to change the intensity or angle of the stretch. And then you'll exhale, lower the forearms down towards the floor. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. You have about 5 to 6 breaths here. Trying to keep the exhales long. Noticing the rate of your breath. Did you get quick again? Or were you able to keep it a little bit more at a consistent pace? And if it's still a little fast, trying to take this time to lengthen the exhales a little bit more each time than the previous one. You're always welcome to stay here in the center, or you might walk the forearms a little bit more towards the left foot, left toe, so that the chest is pointing more towards the left foot. And you still want to sink that right hip or left hip down and back behind you. 3 to 4 breaths here, wherever you are. Noticing if you're holding tension somewhere else in the body, or if your mind starts to drift in a certain direction. Inhale slowly back towards the center. Option to take a downward facing dog or go straight to a child's pose. Your choice. If you're going to a downward facing dog, tuck the right toes under, lift the right knee up, step the left foot back, shift the hips up and back behind you. Try to sink the heels towards the floor, push the hands down and forward, tuck the tailbone down towards the heels, relax the head between the arms. When you're ready, you'll find a child pose. Lower the knees down, big toes can touch. Knees a little bit wider than the hips, and you'll start to walk the hands down and forward. Remember, if it's difficult to get the forehead towards the floor, no problem. Roll up the blanket or place a prop underneath the head so that you can sink the hips back a little bit more towards the heels. 4 breaths here in this position. When you're ready, you'll inhale, lift the chest. If you have props here, you'll want to take it out to the side so that we can do a side body stretch. Walk the hands over towards the right. Keep the left hand down, right hand on top. Exhale, sink the left shoulder down and back towards the left knee. 3 to 4 breaths here. Inhale, walk the hands towards the center and then over towards the left. This time, right hand will stay down, left hand on top. Exhale, sink the right shoulder down and back behind you. Breathe into right side of the body. 3 more breaths. Next, inhale. You'll walk the hands back towards the center. Maybe take 1 or 2 breaths here. And then you'll inhale, lift the chest, and start to make your way onto the back. Once you're on your back, you'll bend the knees. Rest the feet flat on the floor. Maybe gently rock the knees side to side, allowing the low back to settle into the floor here. Next, inhale. Hug the right knee in towards the chest. And today you might explore what happens when you hold the right knee in tight, but then encourage the right hip towards the floor. So the legs aren't really moving, you're just changing position more of like the pelvis, seeing how that changes the sensation in the hip that you might feel. And then when you're ready, moving towards your version of a spinal twist. So if you want, you can cross right leg over the left, or you'll just take the right leg over to the left side of the body. Allow the knees to fall towards the left. Try to keep the right shoulder heavy towards the floor. Palm can face down or maybe up towards the ceiling. You're welcome to look towards the left or the right to see what variation of your twist feels best today. About 6 breaths here. Seeing if you can make your exhales now more of an 8 count. So 4 count in, 8 count out. Next inhale, you'll bring everything back towards the center. Place the feet flat on the floor. And then we'll start to do the same thing other side. So hug the left knee in towards the chest. And you can bring it in as close as you like. Then maybe explore what happens when you push the left hip into the ground without letting the left leg move from where you started. 3 breaths here. When you're ready, moving towards your twist, take the left leg, either wrap it around the right for your spinal twist with eagle legs or Ardha legs, or you can just allow the knees to fall towards the right. Try to keep your left shoulder heavy, using any props you might need underneath the legs so that you can keep left shoulder heavy. You might experiment with palms up or down, face left or right, picking the best variation of your twist today. You have about 6 breaths here, again, trying to lengthen out the exhales. As you inhale, you might observe an increase in pressure on the left side of the ribs. And as you exhale, slowly drawing the belly button towards the spine. Next, inhale, bring everything back towards the center. You're welcome to do any last bit of movement you might need here before you make your way into your final resting position for Shavasana. You're always welcome to take a more traditional variation of corpse pose by reaching the legs long. Allow the feet to fall out to the side, palms up towards the ceiling. Or if the low back is sensitive, slide some props underneath the thighs. Or you can always keep the knees bent, feet a little bit wider than the hips, and drop the knees in towards one another. Wherever you are, you're going to take the next couple of moments to add whatever support and adjustments that you might need here. And today for the breathing practice, we'll work on the box breath, where you inhale for 4, hold the breath in for 4, exhale out for a count of 4, and then hold the breath out for 4. If at any point you start to feel anxious, lightheaded, or dizzy, please return back to a more normal way of breathing for you. And remember, there can be so many things that happen in life and in the body that make it difficult to change the rate of your breath. So if that's difficult for you today, practice patience and kindness with yourself. So when you're ready, maybe a deep breath in and out. And then you'll inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Long inhale. Nice long exhale. With each next exhale, allow yourself to feel more supported by the ground and any props you might have beneath you. So that as you continue to exhale, you might allow yourself to sink into this support. So that as the body starts to feel more comfortable, you might release any remaining tension that it's holding on to. And in time, you might find this state of being that's right before you fall asleep, where the body is heavy, fully relaxed, resting, almost sinking into the support that is beneath it. And the mind is calm, but present, so that eventually you might find this state of being that's right before you fall asleep, so that you can take these next 2 to 3 minutes to rest and recover here. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. With your next inhale, notice how the belly or the chest rises. And with your next exhale, notice how they fall. So that as you bring awareness to the movement of the breath, you allow yourself to come back into this current moment. So you can slowly start to wake yourself up. You might wiggle the toes, the fingers, you can circle the wrists and the ankles. Maybe you gently rock the head side to side or stretch overhead. Any movement that might feel good here. So that as you're ready, you'll roll to one side, taking a breath or two there. And then eventually push yourself up into a comfortable seat in the center of your space, where you might close the eyes or gently gaze down the nose, using a nice long inhale to sit tall, or a nice long exhale to relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Wherever you are, taking a moment or two here to just observe how the body and the mind now feel at the end of your practice. It can be as simple as different or same. You always bring the palms together to touch, thumbs in front of the heart space. You might take this time to thank yourself for showing up to your mat, for dedicating this time to yourself and to your practice. Most of all, I would encourage you to thank your body for what it has allowed you to do today. When you're ready, you'll slowly start to blink the eyes open. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me guide your practice today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.